this?
Magnus definitely finding his mojo in these last moments of the 3-minute portion. He won 2 in a row, got himself into trouble, but works his magic and goes from a losing position to a winning position in the time scramble. We said it before the match started. The time scramble is what gave Magnus the win against Magsudulu in the previous matchup, and it's what once again it's what gives him the advantage in this matchup with Artemiev. He's
Yep.
just so resourceful and he's so tricky. You cannot, even when you're up a queen, you cannot be confident that you're going to win the game. And apparently you can't even be confident
I hate
that
those
you could
words
get a
coming out of
draw.
your mouth right there. I hate those words. You said even when you're up a queen, you can't be confident you're going to win the game against Magnus. You're so right. It stings. That was, dude. I'm still just like, seriously. I mean, I every time I think I'm about to pass out under these lights, something crazy happens to wake me up.
That was an incredible game.
That was
And I
nuts.
think with it, Artemiev, imagine how he feels. How do you keep your confidence up? How do you avoid a tilt after losing a game like that? And in addition, that was his third loss in a row. He's devastated right now. And if he manages to even uh, cut the gap,
Yeah.
that would be impressive at this point. Because I think Magnus now he's got 3 wins in a row. He's confident. He's playing quickly, and he's just throwing everything at Black's king. Artemiev is trying to return the favor with his
Yeah.
pawns, but the crucial difference is that when Magnus pushes his pawn further forward, he will attack 2 pieces at once. He will attack both the black pawn on a6 and he will attack the black knight, forcing there to be some kind of a confrontation, meaning that Magnus is going to get rid of his b pawn, which will open up all of the files he needs to put pressure on Artemiev's king.
Well
But
said.
yeah, I was giving Magnus credit for time management, but right
But
now I think he should just go for it.
yeah, he's maybe overthinking it a little bit. He is better, but may not matter if you reach a time scramble with a full minute disadvantage. By the way, it's possible this ends up being our last 3 minute game, everyone. So a shout out to subscribe before we hit the break. Those of you who enjoy ads will love the latest edition of Capital One, bringing you a new lobby where you can. I don't know. I'm not going to do a Capital One thing. They don't sponsor the show, but others will watch me and you, Hammer, throw down like a couple of tools in the primetime SmackDown. All right, 95 was played. It's funny because you take a bunch of time, a minute and 21 seconds to be exact, and you don't even play a good move with the move 95. And it's funny because we've seen this happen several times. When Magnus loses, Magnus angry, Magnus play better. Um, Now he's not playing too great in this game.
Well, he's trying to go into an end game, and frankly, that has brought him the results previously in this matchup. But he spent a lot of time thinking before he reached this decision. I think he's doing just fine, and I think Artemiev should try to put a speed on because
Yep.
he doesn't want to get into another time scramble against Magnus. We've seen what Magnus is capable of in
Oh
those
man,
situations.
I can't get over the knight over the queen. All right, we'll have to ask them about that game afterwards. King b8's a very good move by Artemiev. He wants to use the c8 square to put pressure on the weak and backward c3 pawn. Notice that he doesn't trade on d4 and help fix Magnus's structure. Now Magnus is trying to force him to do so. So Artemiev says,
Yeah,
no, I will
but
not. Wow, what a creative move by Matt. Can we bring the analysis board up real quick? The point, everybody, is trading queens here would create a situation where the g2 pawn is a serious and backward target. Magnus plays this move g3. Says, "Will you trade and fix my pawns?" Artemiev says, "No, but now G4, if you go back to F4, I will trade because I have a pawn that's protected and no longer backward." Sort of just sneakily fixing the weaknesses in the structure. It's absolutely I just that was a brilliant positional idea there from the world champion.
I completely agree. But on the other hand, it cost him a lot of time on the clock, down
Yeah,
to 8 seconds, with so many pieces still on the board. Artemiev has been having a better position several games so far, but he's always wasted them and let Magnus get in at the
right.
very last moment. Is this the one where Artemiev strikes back, keeping the match within striking distance as we go into the 1 minute portion? I think the only thing that's clear is that this is going to be the last 3 minute game.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to manage to finish within the next 50 seconds, as we see on our countdown clock on the top.
Yep.
And that means Artemiev really needs to win this game to have within 3 games going into the 1 minute portion.
Agreed town. Population us. 2 seconds for Magnus, 4 seconds now for Artemiev. Okay, but F2 falls when you take there, and here comes knight D3 check with B4 hanging.
Wow. And should Magnus now resign to get another game in this 3 minute
Oh, he
section?
could have.
Or,
No,
or
15
should
seconds. He's dead lost in the rook ending. Magnus is going down here for sure. But 3 seconds. Look at the technique from Artemiev. Not even going to lose the C pawn yet. Brings the king up. I love it. Okay.
There's a wall of black pawns going moving up towards white's king.
Yeah.
And those pawns are connected. That means they're standing next to each other. And
Hold the
Magnus
phone.
working his endgame magic.
Hold the
The
phone.
computer suddenly says it's equal.
What's going
What
on
is
here?
going
Magnus
on?
is doing
The
it
computer
again.
now saying it's not equal because he's about to get a new queen.
Oh my god!
Magnus
Why?
turns around a second endgame in a row, and Artemiev is gonna get the abortion on this game because they're done with the 3 minutes. The game has been aborted. They're down to 1 minute chess with Magnus winning 4 games in a row, and Artemiev wasting one brilliant position after another. I thought with the black pawns being able to protect each other, I thought that was going to be it. And he had the opportunity here to move his rook so that he was attacking both of Magnus's pawns at the same time. And that would have ended the game right there and then. But for the second time in a row, the time trouble gets Magnus's opponent, and the resourcefulness Magnus shows, and the pressure, it illustrates how much pressure these guys are under when they're under 10 seconds. And repeatedly, Magnus's opponents makes mistakes. Artemiev should have sacrificed his rook on this white pawn, and with unclear consequences. Instead, his rook kind of got torn between the two white pawns, moving their way up the board. And Magnus secured himself a new queen, as 2 pawns, 1 square away from queening was just too much to handle for Artemiev.